Travis Wayne Goodsell. I doubt this video will be put up tonight. Most likely sometime tomorrow. I was born and raised Mormon, and so because I had questions about scriptures, about the religion, I had to do my own research. And the way was made for me to learn everything I needed to learn, and became the foremost anthropologist of the ancient Middle East as a result. Nobody was giving me the answers in church about the scriptures, and so thus I became the expert on the scriptures using science. And as a result, I have many accomplishments to my name. And as such, I am aware of this being the latter days. And it's all over with. We're wrapping it up. And so I've been escalating the simplicity and straightforwardness in my videos. And as a result, more and more people are running away and hiding and staying away and not wanting to watch. It is sad that people who do not know the information don't want to learn from an expert in the field. They'd rather watch some entertainment that supports their feelings rather than actually knowing what the truth is. And America has been divided because of it into a false dichotomy: feelings, true or false, those are the only options. Wrong. They're both wrong. There's a third option. It's called science. So, we've got the final four that I've been talking with you about. The scriptures prophesy of the fall of the great and abominable church, Babylon, which is both government and religion. So when it says the great and abominable church, it's only talking about the religion. When it's talking about Babylon, it refers to both. Then there's supposed to be a transfer of authority from the corrupt government religion to the rightful Christ. And this is where the whole world gets it wrong. Jews wrote the scriptures. If you don't believe me, read your Book of Mormon, Mormons. If you don't believe the Book of Mormon, then you don't believe Joseph Smith either. He also said this. Numerous places. And yet, Mormons' only claim to Christianity is the passage in the Book of Mormon that says Christians and Jesus. It is so sad that I'm getting cyber attacked when I've stayed away from YouTube most of the day. What the hell? What the hell? So anyway, I don't get why people think that they can just ignore and deny what is written in print and just lie, outright lie. I've never understood that, all the way back when my sister did it as a little kid in Placentia. She knew what she had done, and she denied it. And I saw her expression. that she knew she lied, and she still kept the lie. I don't get it. I mean, I can understand my little Liz. So cute. So tragic. Her mother wanted a united front to talk to her about something that was really not a big deal. But nonetheless, the way she approached it was, we need to talk. And little Liz, at 3 years old, already knew that that kind of is run. And so she comes over and she's all sad and not wanting to look us in the eyes. And the ex asked her if she had done such and such, and Liz said no. And it wasn't because she was denying the truth, she just didn't want to get in trouble. Because she knew that when mommy needs to talk, trouble follows. And so, yeah, the ex called her out on it. And so she pulled the Cinderella move, running to the couch, and then went, ah. I caught it. The ex didn't. So cute. But Mormons, no, you are not as innocent as my little Liz. And to be cyber terrorized on a day off. Dear God. And so, after the transfer of authority, the Exodus, so that we can go build Zion. And apparently Mormons don't want it. They don't want to be pure in heart. They don't want Zion. They're happy living the lives that they're living and complaining about why Trump is not doing what they assumed in their own minds that he would do. Never listening to his rallies, never reading his books, never reading Project 2025. They don't understand what you're doing, Trump. I thought you were just getting rid of the criminals. He is. Dear God. It's like nobody paid attention to his first term. Nobody. And so then the establishment of Zion. On both Friday and Saturday, I was inspired for a celebration ceremony for all those of us who make it to Zion, symbolizing our being the wise virgins who get to enter into Zion. Having a whole ceremony symbolic of that event. To be joint heirs with Christ, to get an inheritance in Zion, and to live in peace, safety, and refuge for the rest of our lives and for generations to come, as far as the people follow the one and only one law of love. And so today, as tomorrow is my deadline for the Curse of Joseph Smith, I'm, just sighing all day. No chocolate chip cookie. To have a dream that corresponds with signs in the heavens, okay, but where's my cookie? I need the physical results. I need the consequences. Having all the inspiration, having all that inspiration be fulfilled from scripture prophecies, from signs in the heavens. Yeah, great, but I need the results. The final four is what I'm waiting for. All these latter days, all my inspiration that I've shared with you have all happened. They're prophesied in scripture, they're signs in the heavens, and I went over all of it with you. And it deeply concerns me that the final four haven't even blossomed yet. Dear God. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1 and 7. And there appeared a great sign in heaven, in the likeness of things on the earth. This isn't something that was just made up in a dream. This is an actual sign in the heavens. It happened. It's the whole point of scriptures, and it happened. And Mormons don't believe it happened. It's right here in the Joseph Smith translation, and Mormons don't believe Joseph Smith. Virgo, with the sun, the moon is under her feet. And in Leo, the 3 additional planets. She's pregnant with Jupiter, and Saturn is in Ophiuchus. Verse 5. Got moved to verse 3. Joseph Smith knows the date. So yeah, that scripture about Joseph Smith seeing Jesus for the second coming when he's 85 years old, forged document by a Danite. I did my research on the church. I did the videos for you so that you too may learn the truth. So that you would study your scriptures with the helps that I've been giving you on how to study the scriptures. Joseph Smith gives you that help. In verse 7, the woman is the church. Our church, Virgo. So when you're going over signs in the heavens, it's always about the church. Us. Right there. Joseph Smith said it. Don't you believe him? He's telling you how to interpret the signs in the heavens. And so the child in the church, our church, is the Christ. Our Christ is a Mormon. Joseph Smith tells you flat out in the Joseph Smith translation. And that's why they didn't do footnoting for these. And you have to get to Revelation chapter 12 and see the footnote to go there. That's why they shoved it clear in the back of the Bible. that you won't know to go to it. They don't want you to know this information. And so I've been telling you the other Joseph Smith decoder from Doctrine and Covenants, section 103, verse 15 to 18. The redemption of Zion, latter days. Therefore, I will raise up unto my people. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. The church is the woman, and the church will have a Mormon, a man, who shall lead them like as Moses. Now they do link you correctly to section 107, verse 91 and 92. This is the head of the church. And Mormons are the children of Israel. The church, Virgo. The Christ, man like Moses, Jupiter. Man like Moses. Hold that thought, because they don't reference that. Section 107, verse 91 and 92. The duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood, Joseph Smith, is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses. Joseph Smith only is a seer, revelator, translator, and prophet, having all the gifts which he bestows upon the head of the church. Seer is visions, dreams. And those visions and dreams have prophecies. That's why a seer is a prophet. And Revelation, I just went over the book of Revelation. Time, day and hour, date. From astronomy, the universal timepiece from Earth. That's why we have calendars. That's why we have clocks. It's science. It's not astrology. That is Revelator. All prophecies must have a date. That's why I'm going sigh. Because we're at the end of the potential date. And it hasn't happened. And a date has to have a prophecy. The two go together. And the seer gets both. And translator, Paleo, Hebrew, and Egyptian. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints takes it out and replaces the head of the church with the keys of Peter. Peter is the one who sowed the seed, as that Doctrine and Covenants passage tells us. Is it 86? That the apostles are the sowers of the seed, and that there would come a false apostle who would sow tares among the wheat. Scriptures tell us about the harvest of wheat for the latter days. We're supposed to be the wheat, but the false apostles sowed tares, lies about a false idol god, Jesus. And so Mormons are tares when they don't believe that they are wheat. Now, this is important because of what's coming up at the end of the month. Not this month, the end of May, which is technically the 1st of June. But that is not an extended date. Don't. No, we're not. No. We have to be in Zion by that date. And that's what I'll get to, is that is the date for my inspiration on Friday and Saturday for that celebration ceremony to enter into Zion, June 1st. Which means there's a lot of work to be done before that. And we're running out of time. Pissing me off. So, Joseph Smith links us to who this Christ is. Which, in case you hadn't caught on, we're not Christian, therefore Jesus is not our Christ. Jewish Christ is Moses. A man like Moses is the Christ. So Joseph just said he's the Christ. Messiah ben Joseph. 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. And so again, in the second vision, verse 40, he says he's the Christ. 11th chapter of Isaiah, saying that it was about to be fulfilled. Yeah, he's Messiah ben Joseph. That's what it means. He's having a dream, vision, about him being Messiah ben Joseph. And it is Messiah ben David who appears to him. His name's Nephi, not Moroni. And so he talks about preparing for Messiah ben David, the man like Moses, Emmanuel, the Jewish Christ, by taking us instead to Acts, 3rd chapter, 22nd and 23rd verses, because it's precisely as it stands in our New Testament. So you're supposed to go to it. You're supposed to find out that it's not cut off, it's destroyed. But the Book of Mormon plagiarism of Acts in 3rd Nephi 20:23 says cut off. And so, by Joseph Smith saying the day had not yet come, but soon would come, means that Acts is not the fulfillment with Jesus, nor the Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith is now saying, Mormons, it's in the future. Your Christ is coming in the future. And he says that that prophet was Christ, the man like Moses, from Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 through 19. The Jewish Christ. All Jews know it. All Jews wrote about him. Jesus is not Christian. He's not Trinity. He's not non-Trinitarian. He's Jewish. And Joseph Smith says he's coming in the future. 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5 also says the Christ is coming after Joseph Smith. That is the learning of the Jews. Messiah ben Joseph comes first, just like Joseph of Egypt. Then comes the man like Moses, just like Moses. They put those books in that order for that reason, even though it was not the Jews, it was the Christians. This really is simple if you just erase all of the Christian indoctrination you've been given. And so the Christ is a Mormon, as Joseph Smith said. He is the Jewish Christ. And you will know him by his gifts and his keys, because the Exodus is come and gone. That was in 2020. But Oakes said he was just doing a test run that year. And I am horrified that nobody is taking that as seriously as it is. Do you not understand? When Oakes said he is in charge of what was going to happen in 2020 and 2021, that he's responsible. Your loved ones, your neighbors, your ward members, your family are dead because of Oakes getting leaked by a little sister missionary. The coup of the government on January 6th was because of this church, because Oakes got leaked. The Black Lives Matter protests, Oakes. That's why Governor Herbert called them domestic terrorists. That's why the cops went in military gear and beat down elderly people. Because of the church. Operation Rio Grande, the church. Housing crisis, the church. Pollution, the church. The drought, the church. Unaffordability of anything, the church. They have been in charge of it. Overthrowing Roe v. Wade, the church. The war against Ukraine, the church. The war against Israel, the church. You're not getting it yet? You're not seeing how evil this church is? Do you not understand how you need to be saved? Do you not understand how this church needs to fall? And that your Mormon Christ needs to be given the authority to do it, to take you in an exodus to safety. They have the membership records. Because I can't do it by doing a YouTube video. Right, Mormon YouTube employee? And so, some fun stuff from Signs in the Heavens today and tomorrow and in the coming days. So today, the moon was new. So it's there with the sun. And it's in the constellation of Aries. Aries is the lamb, sacrifice constellation. Both the religion, the moon, and the sun, the government, are in Aries. Do you now see what I mean by tomorrow is the deadline? That Trump, 100 days on the 30th of April, the Illuminati anniversary on the 1st of May. Do you not see how all of these tie in together here? I know when things are supposed to happen, and they're not. In my cookie dream with Angelica. That was awesome, but no cookie. No cookie. So tomorrow, the moon is at the end of Aries, not at the beginning where the sun is. It still counts. It still counts. So today and tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Venus, the bride, that's the church also, with Saturn, Daddy, are on the back of the white horse. So pay attention to that. Pay Pay attention to that. Because the other sign in the heavens that I gave you for Friday, after the cookie dream with its sign in the heaven, that was Mercury with the moon that was becoming new for death and then rebirth afterward. And so Trump, that morning, before heading off to the Vatican, did his chopper talk, talking about the Pope, who had died and was going to be buried on Saturday. Sign in the heaven and the likeness of things on the earth. This is how it works, guys. It's real simple. You just have to pay attention to the things on earth to know who is who. Because if you can't just say, well, Venus obviously is Hillary. You can't do that. You're making stuff up. You're not supposed to make stuff up. It's my ex-wife. So, on the 3rd of May, which is Saturday, the moon is with Mars. Mars is Nelson. It is well established that this is Nelson. Well established. Like Joseph Smith telling you you are Virgo and that your Christ is a Mormon. Baby name meaning alone was enough for me to go, oh, Nelson. So sure enough, I've been following Mars. And sure enough, the events on Earth of Nelson conform with the signs in the heavens. Nelson has no clue about any of this crap. Despite me telling them, doing all these videos that the Strengthening Church Members Committee are supposed to return and report. And it's there in the middle of the crab constellation of Cancer, and so it's by the Beehive Cluster. Beehive Cluster. Isn't that a coinkydink? So pay attention to Saturday. Then we skip all the way to June 1st. See, Mars is at the Lion. The moon is there at the star Regulus. Jupiter is exiting the horns of Taurus and is at the top of the club of Orion, which the Egyptians had as Osiris. So it's on the head of Osiris. And if you know the Egyptian stories of how the Jews then plagiarized them to create the Bible stories, and thus Revelation chapter 12 with the days and the hours, yeah, it's all from the Egyptians. And so thus the Egyptians knew about it with the stories of Osiris and his death and the rebirth with his son Horus, the Christ of the Egyptians. And so you have Mercury on the crown with the sun of Taurus, the bull, Apis bull for the Egyptians, the transition from father to son. Father becomes the son, son becomes the father. Superman, Jewish. Learning of the Jews, language of the Egyptians. It was right there for you at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, Mormons. So the meteor showers at the tail of Aries has begun. It's there. And then Venus is finally parting the waters to come to Zion, and they don't make it. The flood waters go back in on Pharaoh. Time is up. You missed it, Mormons. You missed it. You missed it. So, June 1st is the correct Pentecost. In Acts, it talks about the Pentecost with Peter and his apostles, and people from all over the world are gathered to Jerusalem. And people not understanding speaking in tongues. I mean, it's simple. People from other countries speaking other languages coming to Jerusalem. Speaking in tongues. Duh. And instead, Christians create Babel languages. He's got the Spirit. But do you not see the pattern of Pentecost? That the members of the church gather from all over the world. Peter is now seer. James, which is Jacob, which is usurper, is the head of the church. And so Peter is now the man like Moses rather than the false prophet from the gospel stories. He denies the Christ thrice. That's where the cock crowed comes in. Jesus is asking him, do you love me? No, but I love you. 3 times he denies. Repeatedly. He says, I want to walk on water. Okay. Help, I'm drowning. The false Christ. The false prophet. Real simple to figure out. But now in Acts, he's the man like Moses. He gathered people from all over the world to come to Zion, the New Jerusalem. That's what the story of Acts is talking about. But there's other stories also. There's the dream he has as a visionary seer, because Peter in Egyptian is seer, about it's okay to eat bacon. There's more on that. We won't get into that. But that's what it's talking about. Pentecost is the prophecy and revelation, June 1st this year, to be in Zion, having Mormons all gathered together. And that's why the ceremony, to help explain the reasons why you making it to Zion is the fulfillment. You are now a joint heir with Christ. You are now perfect. And thus the sacrament is for that whole reason. You partake of the body and blood of Joseph Smith, which was spilt for us, that as a couple, you take it internally and have babies in Mormonism, so that the future Mormon would come and save you as you are gathered in Zion. That's the gathering to church, to partake of the bread and wine, water, which has to do with Passover. Waters turning to blood, moon turned to blood. It's all the same symbolism, all talking about the same stuff, likeness of things on the earth, the prophecies, giving you days and hours of when they're to occur. So this year was awesome with the church and the religion of the moon, because you had Purim with a lunar eclipse there on her head. An eclipse, blood red moon on Purim. Then, to start Passover, the full moon at the star Bethlehem. Dear God, Mormons. This is so simple, but it's because I went and did the study for it. But at least following me, you should begin to catch on by now. Right? I know Stanford has. He comments about his study. And so yes, his wanting to know more about Laban and the temple treasury, and the brass plates in a box, all has to do with the latter days. Zion. With the Exodus pattern in the Book of Mormon, repeated over and over again. So the Jews called Pentecost Shavuot, which translates into weeks. And so it's similar to Sabbath. The B and the V are phonetically the same. It's the same letter. And so it's not the same as seven. It's sevens in the plural, and is similar to Sabbath. And it's different than. I'd have to explain biblical Hebrew for you. But pay attention to Paleo Hebrew instead. And so, yeah, Sabbath is different than Sabaoth. That's the difference. Sabbath has SBT, and then 7 has SB, universal symbol of the sun. And so weeks has 7 with the feminine singular, well, plural technically, of the T at the end. So it's SB, universal symbol of the sun, T. And it's done on purpose. That's why Jesus says he's the Lord of the Sabbath. Is all because of the Babylonian creation of the 7-day week calendar. They used that against Babylon to prophesy of the future Jewish Christ, who Joseph Smith says, as well as the Book of Mormon, is a Mormon. And so this is Pentecost, and it's 50 days from the first day of Passover. The second day of Passover, beginning on the second day of Passover, which it's the first day, because the first day technically is Saturday, or the day before at 6 p.m. So you have to pay attention to the calendar and do your counting from there. Whereas Christians do Pentecost from Easter. And no. Wrong counting. Christians screwed all this up. It's Passover, the beginning of Passover. All right? And so they say the 6th, and they mean the 5th. Whoever did this, dear God. Nonetheless. And so this is when the house of Israel makes it to Zion, even though it's the desert. 40 years. But yeah, they live in tents. And so building up the waste places to build Zion, that's what it's referring to. And so Moses goes to the top of the mountain, Utah, also the mountain city of the Lord, which is Zion, and gets the 10 Commandments. The man like Moses, according to the Jews, restores the law, restores the commandments. That's what it's all about. And sacrifices, which also was a question from Stanford about the sons of Levi. And so you can tell what forged documents there are when they talk about baptisms for the dead. That was not Joseph's. That was the Danites. Because they're talking about burning people for the day that shall burn as an oven. So Joseph Smith and the Jews are talking about restoring the temple. The big old barbecue for the celebration. So, yeah. Baptism, sacraments, door to Zion, and then the BBQ. I need to be paying attention when I get these inspirations, but I'm still gonna be pissed if it doesn't happen when it needs to happen. It's gonna piss me off. I had to put it all away back in the box after being tricked a second time. So if you heard the video the other day where I talk about the Jewish Messiah restoring the Sabbaths and restoring the Jubilees, that's what this is referring to. The weeks to Shavuot and 50 days being the Jubilee. 50 years, 50 days, Jubilee. And then weeks, sets of 7. And so the latter days was 7 years. The Jewish Christ was 50 in 2020. And Oak said it was just a test run. I parted the waters. What the hell? But the declaration of emergency has already been set down in southern Utah. Here we go again. Because Oak said so. We're repeating it. And so yeah, the creeping death of 2020, guess what the version is for this year? The day that shall burn as an oven. The mass extermination of mankind all around the world. We need to get to Zion before that happens. The church must fall. So I'm wondering if the church falls first, then America falls, so that getting Mormons to Zion won't require paying Trump the gold card price. I'm paying attention. Still paying attention. I want to retire. I'm very drunky. I'm very on edge. But. So, I'm kind of concerned about the haircut. Anyway. So, really wore myself out today doing a whole bunch of monthly stuff. Anyway, so that's what we're looking for. That's it. Still got it under an hour. And so yeah, it'll be sometime tomorrow when I do all this. So, gotta figure out a picture. Figure out a picture. I'll have to think about it. Oh, yeah, I probably should go over the Exodus calendar pattern stuff also. Come on. Did I lose you? No. Okay. Surprised he didn't do 3 in a row, shutting me down, freezing the camera. So yeah, on the 30th of April, at the 2nd of AR, the moon is with Jupiter. So that's also something to pay attention to, as I probably need to remember to put that in the video. If I won't remember. If I remember, great. So the Exodus for May, leading up to June, is Exodus chapter 16 through 19. So everything of the Exodus is already supposed to have happened. And thus, the gathering takes place throughout the whole month of May. So that on June 1st, Pentecost, Shavuot, weeks, it is complete. I'm going to do the ceremony to get you into Zion. Zion will not be built yet. It's just a ceremony, like a groundbreaking ceremony. That kind of ceremony. So let's check on Exodus 16 to 19. See if there's anything here. So Mormons are going to murmur. We would have had it better in Utah. And flesh pots. And then manna from heaven. And quails. Tastes like chicken, I understand. 40 years. And then 17. Bruce R. McConkie puts. Mormons still murmur, wanting water. So I'm supposed to smite a rock. And Sinai versus Horeb. If you're unfamiliar with the video I did explaining the Paleo-Hebrew of that. Water gushes forth. Aaron and Hur hold up Moses' hands. That's the Ka symbol in Egyptian. Numerous pharaohs had that in their name, Ka-Re, which is incorrect. I don't understand why they decided to do that. It makes no sense. Read it as it's written. And they don't understand. Anyway, if I say it in the correct way, Egyptologists don't understand me. Just confess, guys, your PhDs were worthless. Just confess. You didn't do your study. You didn't fact-check Sir Alan Gardner, who botched Paleo-Hebrew for William Foxwell Albright. Just admit it. You don't know Egyptian yet. You disgrace Jean Champollion, who deciphered the learning of the Greeks' language of the Egyptians. And so, yeah, this is... I'd have to do a full video on that explanation for you. That's higher level learning. 18. No, I am not getting reunited with the ex. Moses has 2 wives, both failed marriages. Yep, prophecy fulfilled. This is the 3rd. This is the wedding supper feast of the Lamb at the Zion Temple. The ceremony that oh my God. It finally hit me when I found out June 1st. Wait, what? I've got 1 month? Oh crap, no woman will agree in 1 month. But every coronation has a marriage. You cannot be a single pharaoh. You have to have a wife. It is required, so that you produce your heir to the throne. Because otherwise the dynasty ends. And I just hear it already. All the Mormon women who get to Zion, not if you were the last man on earth. Zion dies with us. This is Jethro, the father-in-law of the 2nd wife, who interesting, Midian, Dan. Huh, he's a Danite. Interesting. I just saw that. Fascinating. The high priest of Dan. He's a Danite. Unbelievable. Or you can do it mad, and then the N is kingdom of mad. But that fascinating. Because Samson, he was a Danite, Sun King, Emmanuel. And thus also 2 wives. Fulfilled. Remember? The Christ, a Mormon, me, fulfills it. Not force fulfills it, self-fulfilling prophecy fulfills it, or make stuff up fulfillment. It gets fulfilled. It all got fulfilled. Wild. So yeah, again, a Danite. Fascinating. And so yes, it's a daughter in Zion, like my patriarchal blessing said. It didn't say a daughter of Zion, it said a daughter in Zion. And sure enough, it's going to be fulfilled that way. So any women listening, fear and tremble. Not if you are the last man on earth. Zion dies with me. And so yeah, he's given a wife to become king. But they're setting it up as if the wife he had is reunited with him and his sons. cross. And then the sons of Levi, Moses, is from the tribe of Levi, so offering sacrifice, the barbecue. I know what I'm talking about. I don't think of the scriptures when I do it, when I get the inspiration. But you just witnessed it. I did this first before the scriptures. You just witnessed it. Now do you understand why I'm so on edge? And so, the ceremony in Zion, and the barbecue, and then sitting in judgment to hearing all cases. Yeah, you want to come into Zion? You got to be in the book of the law. If you're not in the book of the law, you'll have to be interviewed to make sure that you're worthy to come in. Parable of the 10 virgins. Mormons are going to be left behind, warring among themselves on the back of the white horse. Wasn't it? Or were... Or, that's right. You fell in the waters. That's right. Come on. God. You suck, Microsoft. Okay. So yeah, Mormons who don't get to go to Zion or refuse to go to Zion, yeah, day that shall burn as an oven, baptism by fire this time rather than water. And so I've told you the law for Zion. You govern yourselves. You violate the laws, you're out. Love. Give agency. Right, YouTube Mormon employee? You're out. You're not going to Zion. You don't want to go. You've made that very clear. You don't want to go. You want to die when the flood waters crash in on each other again. So go ahead. Have fun. And so this is it. The ceremony will include explaining the law for you now that you're all gathered, and there will be translators and all that for people from around the world. Pentecost, prophecy fulfilled, hearing all cases. But the bishops around the world will already have done the preliminary. And if you're an ex-foe, yeah, you can come too. Don't think that, the church fell, and so now you don't know what to do with your videos on YouTube. You can come too. The bishop is not going to ask you sexually graphic questions. He's not going to be demanding you pay tithing to prostitute your spouse. The church fell. And so the bishops, likewise, they may choose not to come also. So the stake presidents are the ones, hopefully, that will be able to put somebody in charge to do that, because they have the membership record list. So if you're an ex-foe, you still are on the membership records. Church didn't get rid of you. They're still following you and stalking you. Somebody's watching me. It's the Church of Jesus Christ. Whoa. When I'm in the shower, Oaks is there, telling me I'm porn. Put on your underwear. No more. No underwear, by the way, in case you missed that on other videos. It was not Joseph's. It was Brigham's. And so, yeah, that's what I've been telling you, is the command center, the book of the law, matching the bishops with mine. He's supposed to send it back to me to let me know, and so that when you get there, it's just a matter of checking, and then you go to the medical, and if you need food, and any or immediate stuff, because tents, we'll try to get temporary shelters with plumbing, water, and electricity, so that it's not camp out for how long it takes until your home is built. But it's going to have to be set up so that you're all facing the temple, just like King Benjamin. Yeah, guess what that was? Baptism, name of Christ. Yep, bingo. Right there in the Book of Mormon for you. In Zion. Didn't I talk about that this morning? But anyway. And so, yeah, teaching the law. And lesser judges, not really. Each ward, we'll say, because a bishop is in charge of a ward, they make sure that you get your place to live temporarily, the food so that you can eat until we get the storehouse built and Zion built for all that to work and set up. And that's where that comes in. People need to be in charge of stuff. So that's a lesser judges. Don't take it literally as people are, Mommy, Billy is looking at me strange. Okay, well, let's go see the judge. Les, did you do this? Let's take you to the judge. That's all that is. There has to be doctors for that part of it, and cooks, and all that, so that you can be taken care of. But yeah, there also will be security to make sure that nobody attacks us from the outside. And so those guards also will be in charge of removing those who don't want to live in Zion and are trying to destroy it from within. If you don't go, you will be forced out. You didn't want to live there. You wanted to be there to cause problems. Get out. So that's that. And 19. Lord covenants to make Israel a peculiar treasure, kingdom of priests, and a holy nation. Yeah, Melchizedek, the initiatories. The whole purpose for baptism is to become perfect in the temple. The washing and anointings. Washing, high priest. Anointings, king. Thus Melchizedek, king and high priest. And you take upon yourself the name of Christ now. You are now perfect. You are now a Christ and a Christa. And thus you get to enter into Zion because of it. You are pure of heart. You're going to follow the law and love people, giving agency of life, liberty, and property. Giving to the storehouse so that all may partake of the storehouse, getting their needs and wants. Laban, the box, the trumpet, putting in the talent, brass plates, all a part of that. And so then the Lord appears on Sinai amid fire and smoke and earthquakes. The day that shall burn as an oven happens afterward. Alrighty, so that's what's going on. I'm still, if I get inspired like this, I'll do a video. But I'm not doing the normal videos. I've got space to put these videos on, but I just, if the enemy fails, dear God, 200 years planning and plotting this, getting everybody into position all around the world, and they fail? I did my part, and I didn't know it at first. You guys know what you're doing, and you still fail? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Zion vid 30th of April. Pick with other picks, calendars. Okay, there, I wrote it down, I won't forget. Oh, yeah, the Zion picture, that's what I can use as the thumbnail. My goodness. Alrighty, be safe.